Hey, folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Podcast. It's a show where each week we're going to be sitting down with Vincent Daly to get his thoughts on the latest movies he's been watching, both older films and new releases. And don't worry, there's no spoilers. Vince will give a brief review of the movie, share some thoughts, and of course, then rate the film. The daily ratings are always fair, honest, and most importantly, they're consistent. On today's show, Vince will be rating and reviewing. We have 3 new films for you once again here, folks. So, we are covering Shelby Oaks. That's directed by Chris Stuckman. We then have Chainsaw Man the movie, Reze Arc. That's directed by Tetsuya Yoshihara. And then finally, the boss is here in the room. We are covering Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. That is directed by Scott Cooper. So, we'll get Vincent Daly in the room here, hear what he has to say about these movies. Stay tuned and enjoy the show. Mr. Vincent Daly, how are we doing across the table,
Thomas,
my friend?
How's it going?
It's going okay with me. How was your movies? You have 3 really different kind of movies this week.
Yeah, we are all over the map.
You really can't get much more different
one.
than these, yeah.
Also, happy Halloween for those listening.
Oh,
on
yeah.
This. Oh, yeah.
I keep on forgetting it's like Halloween.
Kind of forgot altogether. I mean, folks normally would love to do spooky movies, horror movies off the list for the month, but this month was just very pressed and
dry in theaters.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think, I was looking at my list and I really don't think a couple weirdo horror movie picks off my list would have made the difference in these episodes.
Add to the conversation all that much?
Yeah, I had some more Japanese horror, which I feel like have bit us both in the ass a little bit over the last couple of years. And just stuff that I feel like would probably work better in its own realm. One thing I'm interested in is actually checking out the VHS horror series. Have you seen these at all? Or not seen these, but come across these at all?
You have discussed it before.
Yeah, they're basically just like short horror anthologies, which
Right.
I think like Creepshow did back in the day. But kind of interested in checking those out. There's been a lot of them though, so maybe that could be its own special.
But they're all short? They're all short films?
Yeah, they're all anthologies of horror short films. So it's a lot.
Sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, Tom was ecstatic that we were not doing more horror.
Any notes for this week? Any alternative titles?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
I could not come up with the life of me with an alternative title of these 3.
Well,
These 3 are all over the map.
And they're all in theaters, too.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Chainsaw Man ruled the box office. I mean, kind of. It did fine, but, you know.
Sure. Dollar for dollar, not as big as Demon Slayer. Because Chainsaw Man was like 14.5 something. Demon Slayer was what?
Way more than that, yeah. I think it was close to 80 or something like that. That's a whole the different ball game.
Yeah.
Worldwide, it's doing really well. But overall, nothing's really catching fire for the past, 2.5 months. Ever since August hit, things are kind of super quiet at the box office.
Right back down. Got to get the talking points of, is the theater dying? Once again, quarterly roundabout.
Let's see what happens. I think it actually might end up being an okay year at the theater. We'll see.
Yeah.
Everyone's saving their cash everyone's holding their stuff, though, for Wicked.
Yeah,
apparently.
Right.
And we can't forget the next Avatar is still coming out this year.
That's unreal.
And we just have a contractual obligation. Us just says, it needs to make $2 billion. I guess we all have to go. No one's excited. No one cares. And yet we all go and pay the money for it. Yeah. I mean, I wish we just had that with Mission Impossible. Anyway,
right, yeah. There was definitely no obligation there. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Jump to Mr. Chris Stuckman.
Sure.
We got a new director here. He's a very early YouTube guy, Chris Stuckman, and he was a movie reviewer. And a movie reviewer for, over a decade on YouTube.
Oh, more.
And,
yeah.
And in the past, he's been working on this, I want to say since 2002, like the past 3 years, 2022, past 3 years.
Okay.
And the big thing with this is it was mostly crowdfunded. If you look at the amount of producers on this film, nauseating, disgusting, but it's because they all donated on whatever he did, a GoFundMe type thing.
Yep.
But he did get picked up by a somewhat major, not a major studio, but an established studio.
Yes.
It's not just all him doing his own thing.
Yep. And Mike Flanagan is somewhere involved in this as well.
Yeah, Mike Flanagan is executive producer. He jumped on board. So it's a real picture, and it's called Shelby Oaks, directed by Chris Stuckman. And Vin, let's see how this fellow critic fared.
Yes. I'll try to save the daggers for hopefully one day being save the daggers for myself. One of the OG YouTube movie reviewers has made a movie of his own, Chris Stuckman. And now really don't get me wrong, I would love to someday be in a similar position, but any critic that evolves into the art they critique is in a real make or break moment. Or in other words, and harsher words, put up or shut up. I actually had an idea to make this an episode of covering critics that have made movies. Roger Ebert made Valley of the Dolls in 1970, for instance. Paul Schrader was a critic before his career.
Yeah. Still a critic.
Yeah, right. But whether that's a good idea or not, I wanted to see this movie as someone that has followed Stuckman for a while and still rooting for him to make this big jump. And it is a big, big jump. Shelby Oaks is a horror mystery and pretty smart genre to start your career, considering how many successful examples of breakout directors are in this genre. We've talked many times about the comedy to horror pipeline that somehow exists for a lot of creators. And I think it's a strategic choice that he chose, whether he really wanted to do this or not.
Well, even closer to talk about people that started their life kind of on YouTube, the Filippo brothers.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Very true. Absolutely. The story utilizes what our director knows best, though, and pulls from a lot of inspirations from the internet and film, but might pull from just too many sources. The story circles around a paranormal YouTuber channel led by the fictional character Riley Brennan that goes horribly wrong in 2008, spiraling its fandom into conspiracy, but most importantly, breeding a 12-year obsession in Riley's older sister, who we follow for the story. It's not a great sign when I've had to change all my notes from thinking that was Riley's mother, and it's actually her older sister. I just it went way over my head. So we jump ahead to see the long aftermath of these events, including a documentary made about this, and the continuing search for the 4 missing members. Their last footage was found at Shelby Oaks, a town swimming in the occult. And when Riley's sister uncovers new pieces of evidence, the decade-old mystery of who took Riley creeps up once again. I would say this movie starts out really unique and kind of had my attention just because of how much it felt like a product of someone whose career existed on YouTube.
Right.
But as it settles in, it starts to really lack substance and doesn't really capitalize on anything that kicked it off. And more importantly, becomes like almost like whatever, like
start to not care.
Yeah, like really lackluster in so many ways. It also makes me question of like what specifically was added, and to the point that it was almost became distracting while watching the movie of just like what was in the first wave of crowdfunding and what was in this second wave to quote unquote finish the film.
That's another thing because it was in. It took a lot of development.
Yeah.
Because he kind of made it. He had the crowdfunding thing. He kind of made the film, and then it was going through edits for a very long time, and then he got another tranche of money, and then he went back and added to the film. I think like reshoots, I think. And then even more editing, and then it finally started to kind of have a slow rollout, or he was testing it and you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it was a long making in the project, and he did have 2 different rounds of funding. Now, I believe one was actually crowdsourced, the first one. Second one might have been the influx. In fact, I know it was an influx from an actual company.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you can feel it because, I mean, that first third is really interesting, but it feels amateur in a good way.
Yeah.
It is a very interesting mix of found footage horror alongside like a pseudo in-world documentary about the case. These two things are mixed together, and I actually enjoyed this because, again, it felt like slightly something you might find and come across on YouTube as a concept, like either a big true crime video essay or some sort of like ARG content. Like all of this, that first third really felt like inspired in a way. Was it the most scary? Would have been perfect for the movie? No, but I do want to praise that Stuckman is using the scene he's a part of in part of the feel of this, and I just only wish it worked that way for the whole runtime. After that first third, and a solid first third of the runtime, you are literally jump scared with the opening credits for this. And it's like, oh my god, you're not only jump scared with the opening credits, but the quality of the cinematography, the cameras that they're literally using, the footage, all of it switches on, and you can feel the money on screen.
Right.
I don't know if like literally all of this, the second and third of this are done in that second wave.
I doubt it.
Yeah,
I
don't think
it's too
so.
much of the story.
Yeah,
yeah.
It would just be. It's just a little startling and kind of throws out everything that was really working for the movie in the first third. Unfortunately, it does kind of settle into something much more lackluster at that point. It takes a while to give us anything remotely spooky, and the farther we get into the story, the worse this becomes. The biggest issue for me was how the horror was flavored as a mystery first, and not really like a focus on scares. I think it's solid. Our main character is piecing together the story behind the scenes of this, and once again, kind of copying the rabbit hole, jumping down the rabbit hole of internet conspiracies that was already present in this fake YouTube channel. So, like, interesting stuff. And again, a lot of praise for that creating some sort of
combining his worlds.
Yes, exactly. It's what he knows. But I really just needed this to be so much scarier, and this barely makes it as spooky. I mean, it's more it's closer to Da Vinci Code, researching in libraries and going around and interviewing people than it is. I mean, it's mystery first, which I just feel like loses me in a big way. This just had its priorities wrong, and a little bit of the organization, the how the film was composited together, how it was all stitched together wrong as well. Maybe some of this is because the scares on the found footage angle, it's always our characters watching it. So I was kind of conscious of this while watching it. I was just like, I'm not really scared by this, like, in the slightest, but is it matter that I'm twice removed? The scene is the character is watching the found footage horror.
You are not watching, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe there's like an aspect there that it's twice removed. But as it stands, this is really going to be doomed to comparisons of the Blair Witch Project, and that's very unfair because Blair Witch, we've covered it on the podcast, folks. Lightning in a bottle. Not only cemented, if not the genesis of the found footage subgenre in horror, one of the best to ever do it. So this going for so many similar vibes and so many similar types of scares of how it's revealed, it's really going to doom it to comparison, and this unfortunately really just does not hold a candle to it. We're going to go ahead and give Shelby Oaks a 50 on the dot.
A 50%. Okay, maybe it is a coin cost for people then. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this was certainly not great. And I feel like to end on something positive, I feel like Stuckman, if given maybe an IP that is not his own baby, I feel like looking at this movie, potentially like a Silent Hill type movie, could be something interesting for him to adapt, or something that he could use the inspirations at play for something other than, I don't know, this concept that just didn't stick the landing. So
yeah, and maybe he just also it's his first film.
Sure.
So who knows? Maybe he can do it more with more money. He's got bigger ideas. I mean, he always talks about his favorite film of all time and what got him in the movies was Signs. So can he go kind of that route now instead of the found footage route? Who knows? But I mean, I doubt this is going to be his last film. And honestly, I don't even know the money he ended up with. I mean, I don't think it has to do great at the box office. It's not like it is. But, I mean, people are kind of seeing it ish. So
Right. Well, it's what we commented on a couple weeks ago, where it's just like there's surprisingly little horror in the movie theaters, considering it's Halloween.
It's silly, almost. Yeah.
So,
but okay, 50% for Shelby Oaks, Mr. Chris Stuckman. Let's go on to let's do some anime now. Okay.
Yeah.
Chainsaw Man dash the movie : Reze arc, directed by Tatsuya Yoshihara. Nailed that. Thank you. Original title.
Oh boy.
Oh man, this is actually a tough one.
They're all tough.
Jagicho Ban Chesno Man Rezahan.
Oh wow. Okay.
Sweating bullets on that one.
Chesnoman.
You had set this. You had set this up. Oh, that's right. That's funny. Yes.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there.
Chainsaw Man. You set this up before. Chainsaw Man was a show. It's season 1.
Yeah.
This movie is this movie is season 2 essentially, and then you said there will be a third season, which goes back to TV.
Yep.
Kind of risky, kind of super risky. I don't even know why you want to go this route.
Sure.
But maybe it's just trying to be interesting. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, I think the answer to it is all related to just anime production right now, which is in
It's hot.
Yeah, but also like chaotic. People leaving projects because of overwork. Surprisingly, Mappa, just like a anime studio that you go 10 years back and they were like the new kids on the block, and they now have like all the biggest properties under one house.
What are they called? Mappa? Mappa.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, I don't know, anime production right now is a little bit of a shit show.
Okay. This is Toho as well as a studio backing this.
Maybe producing, but I feel like animators, I believe it's Mappa.
Are in that specific company.
Yep.
Okay. Never heard of him. Wouldn't know. Anyway, Chainsaw Man. I guess you set this up however the hell you want. And how did you enjoy it?
yeah. Like, I've set specific anchors for you, Tom, throughout the review.
I'm holding on for dear life over here
to tie into what you might know. But folks, we might not have covered heavy hitter anime releases this year, like Demon Slayer. We have Jujutsu Kaisen in a few months in December, I believe, or even something like K-pop Demon Hunters. But I've watched anime for a long time, motherfucker. And Chainsaw Man has the sauce. Chainsaw Man is an excellent anime. The show, in essence, belongs to the kind of spirit detective subgenre and a long line of Monster of the Week style shows that goes all the way back to classics that you would even recognize, Tom, like Yu Yu Hakusho or something like that.
Yeah.
We gotta. There's the one time. There's the one time. And good taste. I mean, Yu Yu Hakusho, great show.
I often look for the Blu-ray box sets. It's always expensive.
Yes.
But I always keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Honestly, though, how I explain these type of shows to non-anime fans, especially Chainsaw Man, is that it kind of is something close to like Men in Black or something. The source or the core of the story is that our characters belong to an organization whose job is to crack down on monsters of the week. That's essentially, the heart of these type of shows. But Chainsaw Man is the cream of the crop, and alongside shows like Mob Psycho are what I consider to be the bar of modern anime in the last 6 years or so, worth actually watching.
Okay. This is a big one then. Yeah, okay, all right.
This isn't the first time we've touched on the creator, though. In 2024, Tatsuki Fujimoto had his novel Look Back adapted and was a great standalone movie. Chainsaw Man is very different than that. So, I mean, it's probably as different as you can get, because that was like a very, kind of realistic teen story. But it's interesting that a quality of Fujimoto's adaptations is almost universal praise that his mangas get shot-for-shot recreations. I would say the only caveat to checking these out, and Chainsaw Man specifically, in recommending his work, is that you should probably watch it in Japanese only. Way back when, I mean, I don't even know when we touched on it, but I was talking about subs versus dubs, and I kind of still stand by this. I'm fine with however it works best for the viewer. If you can enjoy something with Japanese, fantastic. If that's going to be a distraction or it takes you out of it and you just need English audio, fantastic. That's totally fine. Whatever gets the job done is my official opinion on that. But I do feel pretty strongly here that the Japanese dub is the way to go on this one. So
It really makes that much of a difference.
I think so.
We probably talked about it on the Heron.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Boy and the Heron.
Boy and the Heron, yeah.
Which was the latest Studio Ghibli movie.
I think we probably had that discussion then, and that was definitely really trying to hit theaters and everything like that. It's going to be up to your own taste.
Yeah.
What can you handle and such?
Yeah, I just think where with this one not going down the rabbit hole too much with Chainsaw Man, on the surface it feels like it's a very playful, almost even like a little raunchy anime, where what's lost in that translation is kind of more of a messed up core to what the story is really about. But Chainsaw Man, the Reze arc, acts fully as the season 2 of the show. And if all goes to plan, like you said, Tom, will go back to being a TV show for season 3 unless the overworked animators over at MAPPA decide to jump out a window or something. I don't know. In the world of Chainsaw Man, devils are born from the collective fears of humanity, personifying them into physical form, either to possess a host or to make a demonic pact with the desperate. Basically, the rule of thumb is the scarier the concept, the more powerful the devil. And we pick up our story following Denji, the delinquent street rat that just so happens to have the chainsaw devil in place of his heart, and thus becomes Chainsaw Man. There isn't a lot of time to check in with the other public devil hunters he works with, though. Only quick mentions of the larger cast, and that's because everyone is after Denji's heart, and Denji simply goes wherever his adolescent heart wants to take him. That mentality lands him in the hands of Reze, a new love interest that quickly has Denji dropping all responsibility to live as a teenager for once, until he isn't too deep to get out clean. Let me talk about this as the functional season 2 of the show, and then also the potential for a first-time watch for someone.
I was going to say, should anyone who doesn't know this even care? Like, can I step into the movie and know what the hell's going on?
Unfortunately, no. I was really hoping the other way
dumb.
around.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, I was really hoping it was going to be the other way around.
Okay.
But this is basically season 2. You know what I mean? That's it. Consider it season 2. I would say, considering every anime movie as of late has his own opening credit sequence now, like it has an opening theme song. It might as well be a new season to the show, but sadly, it does not work really as a standalone story. And almost the whole time watching this, like, I was enjoying it a lot, and I enjoyed it even more kind of reflecting on it. But I couldn't help but be a little bit disappointed that this would have been awesome to have as the entryway for someone that hasn't seen the show, hasn't seen season 1.
I mean, if you're going to put it in theaters and spend that money and deal with that, you would think so. But this sounds more just like a specialty fan event. Yeah. Honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Something that, I'm surprised at the numbers it got. I also didn't expect Demon Slayer to get, crazy numbers.
You anime guys is insane because you're starting to have your own corner of the market. I'm serious. You guys are like crushing it, honestly. And I think maybe 3 years from now, this could be what horror was 2 years ago. When all of a sudden, like every single month, we needed 5 new horror films for whatever reason.
Yeah. And it's. I mean, these things come out in Japan, so it just a matter of.
Oh, and they do very well over there.
Yeah.
But even like
I was actually like only a few days away from having this in a premiere in Tokyo, which I would have loved.
Oh, that would have been
wild.
That would have been very cool.
Yeah.
But like even like Studio Ghibli that we just mentioned, they've been rolling out every single film for specialty weekends all year.
Yes.
Like the Heron movie's coming out in like 2 weeks in theaters again.
Yep. Ghibli Fest or whatever it is.
Okay.
Which is they're just constantly re-releasing stuff. So this just doesn't have. I feel like where this falls of being, or where this fails of being a functional standalone story, is it just does not have the time to touch on the characters introduced in season 1, and still somewhere in the background of what happens in the movie. But while it falls short of working on its own, I do think the focus on Denji as our main character does make a tight movie. I feel like this does work as a movie, even though functionally it kind of has to be the season 2 of the show. Denji is really continuing his story arc, and he is Chainsaw Man, so there's really no problem with that. So I think there's really a huge payoff for fans of the show to this, and even just wanting maybe a little bit of a different format to the anime. Anime movies always a lot flashier, a lot more high-quality animation in the scene-to-scene stuff. It's not just a real bad trend of modern anime is that you have, like, bare-bones animation in, the in-between, 90% of the episode. And then guess what? All the budget goes towards a really, really flashy fight. That fight looks amazing, but there's a little bit of an imbalance there. I feel like this does strike a balance as a movie. Bottom line, though, this is Denji's story 100%, and he might be a literal dog of man chasing the shortest term pleasure possible, but it's still his arc that has the substance here, even though it might sideline the more, I guess we'll call it kind of emotionally complex characters to the series. Honestly, that's exactly why this felt like and I said this to you, Tom, when you asked me how it was originally. This feels like a compilation movie of a hypothetical season 2 we never got. And that's exactly how I'd recommend it. Like I said before, Chainsaw Man is praised as an adaptation because both season 1 and this are described as perfect one-to-one versions of the manga. So I can't criticize it too much for wanting more of the background because there really isn't more to the background. In the actual novel of it, what we're covering is exactly what you see in the show. Or, I'm sorry, exactly what you see in the movie. These background characters get sidelined in the original work as well. But I found myself really craving the in-between, especially in side characters that I love for how they give context to how this world works. Gives you context to this premise of how devils are created, how fear and humanity's fears kind of manifest into like one specific thing, and awesome designs, like amazing
that's what it
designs
seems like.
behind it.
Super flashy.
Yeah, like incredible. I think
you see this in Dolby?
Yeah,
it's got some big screens.
Yeah,
like major screenings. Yeah,
absolutely. I feel like two quick examples of this as far as specific characters. If you follow the show, folks, the character Power is a great example of like she's part of the main crew originally in that first season, but really missing significantly from this one. But even more directly, their boss Makima as the other half to the love triangle is just not felt in the story like they should. I feel like this being, was it hour 37?
Hour 40.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've said this. This needed to be 2 hours. I needed a little bit more time.
Season 1 is how many episodes?
I believe 22.
Oh my God.
Maybe?
What, like 20 minutes, half an hour episodes?
Yeah.
But that's a full season.
Yeah.
So they're trying to wrap season 2 in an hour and 40 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's tough because they say that this is like exactly what the manga is.
Right.
So this is exactly the original work. But as it is right now, on the positive side of this, the movie feels incredibly paced and delivers the goods in the last 40 minutes. It's pretty much all insane action. But I just could not help but want more of a slow burn for how the story unfolded, whether that's true to the source material or not. We're going to go ahead and give Chainsaw Man, the Reze arc, a 73.
Okay, 73%, not a bad anime.
Yeah. I would say it would be very disorienting to just jump into it, but
This is a niche one that we're covering this week, folks. That's why we need to have, like, I don't know. You have covered a lot of anime. Mm-hmm. I want the anime bros to find out about us because we're covering a lot.
Yeah.
But this is niche. I just assumed that it's like, hey, let's get a wider audience. Let's do this story. Like, you could just jump in on this film and you're caught up.
Yeah, I really.
It would be
for
the
that
smart
as well.
thing to do.
I really hope for that.
But it's 73%. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Okay, a couple questions first that I don't know if we haven't gone through this yet. As far as anime bros go, do you guys have?
I don't know if that's a good.
Do you guys
description?
have a name?
Anime bros. I mean,
that was my question.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a name for yourselves? Gamers are gamers.
Real us versus them mentality we got here.
No, come on. This is a subgenre of people.
Simultaneously, while you want to cater to them.
Listen, But I'm just assuming that there's, you've got Sony, gamers are gamers. Other people are other people.
I think, well, the online term is weeaboo. Weebs.
I didn't know that. Weebs.
Yeah, but that's used like in a derogatory way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to do that. And then do you guys have a drink of choice?
What are you talking
Well, just
about?
like gamers are like Mountain Dew. You know what I mean?
What are you talking about?
I mean, no offense. I just assumed that there's got to be something. There's got to be, I just thought it's more of a community here.
Right.
Apparently not. Okay. All right.
No,
okay.
definitely not.
All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and jump into our producer segment, folks, because we do have two producers for this week. We want to give a big shout out to our monthly donor, Linda Schiller, coming in, always giving Vin a movie ticket once a month. And then we also have a producer who we heard from a lot, which is Brandon Beebe writing in. So, Linda, anytime you want to write in a note, go ahead. We will always read that whenever we feel like saying something. And Brandon did write a small note here. So, Vin, he writes, Vinny, he donated $25, by the way. So Brennan writes, Vinny, this should be enough money for rope and duct tape to drag Tom to K-pop Demon Hunters that will be in theaters this weekend. If somebody questions the rope, just say he's a demon. And it's a sing-along, so Tom, feel free to sing along. He's been pushing us for to go see K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's on Netflix. It's pretty easy to watch.
Will this be a catch-up?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know what's in the catch-up, but K-pop Demon Hunters is 100% in the catch-up episode for the year.
Okay.
So.
Well, as far as next weekend goes, we have plans for next weekend already.
Yes. But, yeah, I mean, when it comes to, I believe me, I want to check it out. I actually follow, it's a woman director. I think I follow her husband. He does like concept art.
Okay.
But yeah, just I mean, like really, I think I'm gonna like the movie more and more as the time goes on with it, because it just looks like adorable, and like how the characters are also animated. Like it's just like it looks like such proper like cartoon, you know what I mean? It's like it's comedic style, it's timing and everything like that.
I haven't seen a single clip of it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
how have you stayed away?
It has staying power. Well, because it's just not being pushed to me.
Right.
They know that it's not for this guy. But I mean, we will come. I mean, sorry, Brandon. So we're not going to go next week. But we have a 5 slot already. We're doing a director study, and that's just that takes precedent. But I will watch it. I will absolutely. If it's going to be watched later in the year, I will watch it.
Good. Done. It's an easy watch.
But anyway, Brandon, thank you so much for your $25, man. We really appreciate it. You are executive producer of episode 210. Linda, you are co-executive producer of this episode. And folks, if you want to be an executive producer for episode 211 for next week, head on over to thedailyratings.com and go to the donations tab. When you monetarily help us out, when you donate into the show, you become an actual legitimate producer of the Daily Ratings. That's how we're doing it. So you're not going to have any advertising here on the Daily Ratings. We're not going to have pop-up ads on the site. It's also not paywalls or tier structures where you need to send in cash in order to get extra content. We don't do specialty shows or anything like that. Everything is out there for everyone. Everyone's also on their own finances, which is another reason why we're doing it this way. So when you go to the donations tab on thedailyratings.com, everything's laid out there right for you, where we do have some set donations, but there's the big value for value button there. Because the idea is, what kind of value are you getting from all this? Are you enjoying the podcast? Are you heading to the website and seeing what movies are worth the watch? We look at that as value in your pocket. Can you send us value back in our pocket? It's value for value. And it can be any size donation, big or small. So if money's tight, $5 means the world to us. If $500 is not that big of a deal for you, then we really appreciate that. Vin and I have a slim operation here, but we always still have costs to keep up with and everything like that. So everything from our producers that have produced, we thank you all so much. It means the world. And then, of course, just like Brandon wrote in a note, when you produce, send in a producer note. This can be questions, comments, critiques. Ask us anything, say anything. We want to bring you into the conversation because that's what being a producer is all about. You can email us your note at tom.vin@thedailyratings.com. That's our email. And like I said, dailyratings.com, head to the donations tab, and everything is laid out there for you. All right, Vin, let's go to our final movie. Okay, so this is the Bruce Springsteen movie that has been honestly being talked about since last year.
Yeah.
And because we have 2 music biopics, it seems like a year, or maybe
real.
one major one, and then the big talk of the town. No one ever cares about the director. No one ever cares about the writing, nothing like that, or the source material of the book. It all comes down to, okay, who is playing the main character?
Yeah, what's the casting?
So with Timmy playing Bob Dylan, it's all about Timmy. And with this one, it's all about Jeremy Allen White playing Bruce Springsteen. It's called Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. And again, it's based off a book by the same title. And why don't we just get into it? We'll take him back and forth, talk about what kind of really... It's not a cradle to grave type of biopic, where we're not following where he came from and to the end of his life.
I like that.
Yeah. Which some do that. And this is a very pinpointed, specific time of his career. So at that point, Ben, just take it away from there, and we'll get into it.
Well, almost exactly how I commented on with Timothy Chalamet's casting as Bob Dylan. Hollywood has to strike while the iron is hot on stars that fit the part, and Jeremy Allen White, I feel like he's a pretty clear dead ringer for Bruce Springsteen. I mean, you look at these two side by side, especially on the filming set of this movie. I mean, like, they got the schnoz. It's the triangle. It's the triangle of the face. They are the same. It also seems like he is gunning for some award recognition with this, including doing all of the singing in the movie, which I'm happy more and more has become a requirement for these type of movies. I feel like when we first started the podcast, that really wasn't the case. So I'm glad to see that that's like a non-negotiable almost for these music biopics. But right timing or not, my questions for any biopic, music or not, does this have the worth-itness of a story that needs to be told? For Deliver Me From Nowhere, that answer is complicated, as its conflict is all in the messy, emotional, internal struggle that Bruce does not exactly verbalize on screen. It's not quite a full origin story, but instead a pivotal middle ground to his career, specifically after his 5th album and set before his 1982 release, Nebraska. For the boss, everyone's got a hungry heart for him, but success takes a particular toll on him, not knowing how to process an unspoken trauma that haunts his adulthood. This shows itself in not your typical substance abuse, but instead in deep personal demons that he needs to forgive for his own sake, even though he might not know who to forgive. This creates a drastic shift for his new album, and whether it will be successful or not, if this movie is about one thing, it's that he's got to get it down on tape. That's the real conflict of this.
It's the only conflict of it, really.
He got to get it down on tape. He listens to a Suicide album, which was like, what? And some proto punk, and all of a sudden now he doesn't want the studio anymore. That's Bruce's arc in this. I'd really like to praise this movie more because it feels like it checks a lot of boxes, but and I really mean that. I had a hard time reflecting on this movie because I feel like this almost covered all the bases that I need covered when we talk about a music biopic. Mm-hmm. I just could not shake the overwhelming feeling of whatever, though, with the story.
I mean, a lot of this has to come down to oversaturation.
Yeah, true. Exactly.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is it anything wrong with it? I guess not. But at the same time, have we seen it before? Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. And no, that's a great point because, I mean, as they're kind of refining and taking notes from, more successful versions in the genre, great. You're pumping out a tighter, cleaner, sharper music biopic, but it still has to have a worth-itness. I feel like that with any biopic. Is this something that leaps off the page? And I don't think that's here for Bruce Springsteen. That's not even coming from... I've been listening to some Springsteen after watching this movie.
Thoughts?
I like his earlier stuff.
I guess we should. Kind of. We also never had a Springsteen phase.
Yeah,
you and I.
No.
We never had the Dylan phase, and we never had the Springsteen phase.
Yeah.
So, and another thing is, it is pigeonholing itself a little bit too, with being so specific about the release of Nebraska. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, it's not the beginning of his career. It's not the later stages of his career. And I don't know, like, is that grand enough? Mm-hmm. to be put in theaters.
Yeah.
I understand if it's a book and that's you know what I mean?
Sure.
Something totally different.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's something that I kind of went back and forth with. I mean, I think a positive is Jeremy doing the singing. Fantastic.
Yeah, yep.
And also what we touched on with the Bob Dylan story, or what was it called? Man.
It has eluded us all week.
Oh, my God.
I can't believe
it. Still. Complete Unknown.
Yes.
Talk about ironic.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah, that joke writes itself. I'm particularly happy when we don't get the full arc of the music career, cradle to grave, as you put it, which I think is a great way to kind of summarize that. Give me, instead, the vertical slice. I want the defining moments of when when their life was challenged the most. Give me the top conflict. Why are we writing a story about this person at all?
Right. Okay.
But we certainly get that here. I still think it fails at being a story that, again, has worth itness to be told. I mean, like, I'm not trying to make light of the deep internal struggle that Bruce Springsteen went through at this point. I will say, though, it is not enough to cut it as a movie script. You know what I mean? There's not enough going on here to make it really worth it.
Let's even think about it this way. If you are a huge Bruce Springsteen fan, right? Is this his defining movie? Because I just don't feel like there's enough in here, because this wasn't the start of his career and how he got going or who found him or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not the origin story. It's not kind of where he ended up. And, okay, so it was a tough part. It was a tough time in his life. I'm sure there was multiple tough times in his life. And I can't imagine walking away from this. It's like you got what you needed if you're a huge Bruce guy. Do you know what I mean? Like when you do Walk Hard, not Walk Hard, I'm sorry. What's
Walk the Line.
Yes, when you do Walk the Line, you get a sense of the guy. And I understand that's more of the almost a cradle to grave thing. When you watch Ray from 2004 even.
Yeah, which honestly, those are the two probably best examples I can give, or at least music biopics that I've watched.
And those are the defining biopics of the person. And after watching those, you get a real sense of the person.
Yeah.
This is going to be the defining biopic for a long time, at least, of Bruce Springsteen. And I just don't know if it's, I mean, we're just repeating it, but heavy enough or deep enough where we get the full picture of the guy.
And believe me, I can enjoy like a feel-bad movie. I'm not trying to, again, diminish this internal struggle that we see in the performance. Yeah. But when the biggest conflict in the story, like real-world conflict that characters interact over, is that if they can transfer a demo tape to vinyl or not, I need something with a bit more grip than that.
Absolutely.
And that really is like, I was trying to write the summary for this. It was just like, all right, he's depressed, and we got to get this tape on vinyl. Like,
and like you said, it kind of hits the. I mean, let's talk. As far as biopics or why do we care about this person? You have super successful musician. Okay, so what are we going to be dealing with? Either substance abuse or writer's block, depression, family trouble, or like you're against the business and you're fighting the business.
Oh, sure.
Because you need your music to sound your way and yada yada yada.
Yep.
And that's not two things. It is a list of things, but. Again, now that we're in 2025 and they're just all over the place, these movies, and there's more coming out next year, and everyone's talking about those already.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, the Beatles one.
The Beatles won, the Michael Jackson one.
Yeah.
We have two female ones coming out. It's a lot, Vin, that are on deck.
Yeah.
So it's just tough. And for this one, okay, depression, it's like welcome to every single artist ever. Or I was telling you, I'm starting to not care about your depression or your problems.
Absolutely. There's definitely burnout for sure.
And especially because he doesn't have the substance abuse or the alcohol stuff. He's kind of like, he does seem like kind of like a solid dude and just.
Right. He's pretty straight edge.
And he didn't have problems with coming. All of a sudden, the songs are coming to him and he's doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's where I think I do have some praise for the movie. Because, again, I'm reflecting on this. I think I reflected on this much better than just the initial blahness walking out of it. I did enjoy the emphasis on the songwriting process. And I think in some senses, this is yet another box that is checked that is just like, great. It's a more refined version of a music biopic, but it was still kind of leaving me with it. One of the areas that I hate in these, and probably my go-to example is always Bohemian Rhapsody, is the cliche touches we've seen so many times around the songwriting process. Again, Bohemian Rhapsody, where they're arguing 1 minute, you hear the bass line to Another One Bites the Dust, and then guess what? We got another hit. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
That's bad. I don't care if that's actually how the song was made.
Yeah.
That's bad. And don't get me wrong, the script does dip a toe into the cliche as well, especially commenting how much of the greatness there is to certain tracks and Bruce Springsteen's career pivot from a hit maker to now this lonesome album. But I would say the focus on the songwriting process itself is interesting, a smart writing decision. I think why I was really reflecting positively about this is that Nebraska being the album that is, being a big personal project for Bruce, allows for insight to come from his past, giving backstory without feeling like exposition. It's all kind of blended in together. And again, you have a much tighter project than I expected for that reason. So I feel like there was some good writing around that, and my praise, again, is around because there's not a lot of conflict going on. That songwriting process was pretty important, and I feel like they did hit that pretty hard.
I will say this again, because I didn't outwardly hate the film, and I think it is somewhat of the oversaturation. I think a big part of the lacklusterness of it is just the story as a whole wasn't big enough to put on screen. But to your point with the music writing, I'm glad where we got Jeremy Allen White singing and working on it or creating the songs. It was kind of him singing, doing his thing.
Yeah.
Where with the Timothée Chalamet one, we had a little bit of that, but it was so much in the live performances where it's almost like watching a live album without the guy. And we both were like, it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's just too much music on screen. This definitely tamped that down.
Yes.
And so when you're hearing, it's mostly him just playing guitar and Jeremy Allen White singing on his own during the writing process and coming up with the songs. I did like that about it.
Yeah, and if anything, it does give substance to those moments where he's just kind of depressed. And again, I'm not making light of the internal strife of this character or, this depiction of Bruce Springsteen, but there's something there that I needed something going on to have real world conflict. That wasn't there. Instead, I feel like the songwriting process did have some substance. Again, just even from a writing perspective of just how it's tied into giving us glimpses into what this trauma is and his backstory and whatnot. I feel like that was a sharp writing technique for this. Again, just reflecting positively over. In some ways, I do think this was better at conveying the tortured musician soul than recent biopics that come to mind, specifically Bob Dylan's and Amy Winehouse's as well.
Right, yep, that's right. That was last year.
If anything, this is like right on par with that Amy Winehouse biopic. That's like where it is in my brain. Though that had its kind of own problems, certainly a lot of substance abuse. But in other ways, I'm just not sure that this was ready to tackle its emotionally heavy subject matter in a way that great movies like Inside Llewyn Davis are able to, where, I mean, that's not exactly a music biopic, but able to tackle this overall topic of a tortured musician's soul. I feel like that's absolutely the goals of this. I just don't feel like it had, I don't know, the meat to it. I just hope that these biopics are able to see what works in each other. And maybe this is evidence that they're already taking note of that. I also had some interest in covering the director's earlier work as Crazy Heart.
Not on the site, by the way.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Crazy Heart is a fictional story. It's not based off of a real musician, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, like, I feel like, I don't know, that might be the movie for me then if, this didn't work. But I think it gets a lot of things right, and I can't trash this movie. Needs to be a little bit more compelling in its subject, and that, unfortunately, you can't separate from the subject. We're going to go ahead and give Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere a 61.
Okay, 61%, and because I think that tells it all, because you're right. It's doing a fine job at what it needs to do, but do we care about what it's doing?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem.
And maybe Springsteen is just not cursed, but what I mean, it's not the one to adapt.
Or just adapt. Maybe cover his first 5 albums.
Yeah.
And have more of a story arc a little bit.
Right.
Or you know what I mean? Because I just feel like it's too small of a snapshot. Now, I mean. And it's
so
not
you're
just
on the opposite end. You want the full arc of their career.
No, I don't.
Okay.
But could we have a little bit more? Like, think about this film. They even did more than just Nebraska. They did other films. They did covered songs that came out after Nebraska.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just because that wasn't enough. They needed to give us a little something. So I just think I would have. How about this? Just because we all know who Bruce Springsteen is, I would have liked the coming up story and end it with Nebraska coming out, maybe.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Cover those first 5 albums. Not to exhaustion, but it was too small for me. Because the Cradle to Grave on Bruce is too much, I think, definitely for a film. We're on page for that. But it was tough to just get excited about this. And when it come down to depression, can we get the sound right? And there is a relationship drama in there, but still not heavy. Not anything major or something like that.
Yep.
I don't know. It was tough to get excited about, but you're right. You can't outwardly hate it, even if you want to. Or it's just
the most I can punish it is low 60s, but it really was like I can't shit on this movie because it is like functioning, and if anything, again, really checking boxes of just like the qualities I want to see in a music biopic.
Yeah. It felt a little bit smaller too than I feel like some others because we don't have a huge cast. You know what I mean? We're pretty contained.
Yeah.
Which kind of surprised me, but anyway, okay.
I don't know when it comes to. I don't know about the 2 others that you mentioned, but Michael Jackson and the Beatles.
And the Beatles is quite the project.
Jackson could be very interesting because, I mean, do you include the problematic later history of his later career? Do you just focus on the problematic start of his career with his father and the abuse story there?
Right.
I feel like that, and not being morbid around it, has the worth itness to tell a story.
Talk about big.
Yeah. Beatles, I don't know. I mean, I believe me, I like the Beatles. I would be happy to see what they could do with it, but I don't know. I don't think that has the drama, the conflict needed, unless they're going to really like take it to the end of Lennon and whatnot. So
I think it's more so the Beatles hit because they have so much interest that people just want to see. I mean, you have that Peter Jackson documentary that people forgot about and love.
That's right.
Now, the Beatles, correct me if I'm wrong, is going to be 4 different movies.
Get the
I think that's the thing.
Way.
I had thought that was what Sam Mendes got, and he's directing all 4.
Wow.
I thought that was the thing.
So it's a series of movies.
And then Michael, the Michael Jackson one, that was supposed to come out like this spring and then the summer, and then it got pushed. Now it got pushed to next year. Now it's gotten split into 2 movies.
Oh, God,
so Michael, I believe, is going to be 2 movies.
All right, so no, these are not good then. I don't need multiple movies.
And the funny thing is about how when you're like, I don't want a Cradle to Grave, I don't want the full art.
Right.
But Ray is kind of that, and the Johnny Cash one is that.
Yeah, they're in like direct conflict with what I think I want, but clearly I want the full arc.
And at this point, anyone that comes out after this, you're walking a tightrope, and that window of how can I stretch my wings here, or you know what I mean? How can I make my mark on this biopic is shrinking and shrinking.
Yeah,
because each one is kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
But it's all the same thing at the same time. Maybe one of the best ones in top 5 biopics of all time might be Dewey Cox.
yeah, for real.
And we didn't see the Monkey movie at the end of last year, beginning of this year. Which got good reviews.
Apparently it got great reviews.
But probably because it was like, it doesn't even matter. 61% from Springsteen. I think that is a very solid score. I think if you're into Bruce Springsteen, obviously go ahead and watch it. And if you're not a big fan of Springsteen, I just would say you can watch it. I don't know how much you're going to learn or care about the benefit. And that is the problem I have.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's value in it being a functional movie, but not much beyond that.
Almost like with the Maestro, Leonard Bernstein one. I still don't really know if I know the Leonard Bernstein picture.
Yeah.
Because of what Bradley was just trying to focus in on too much.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we go back to the review on that. I mean, that's my whole kind of argument around that film being that Bernstein is not the main character. Right. It's the wife.
Carey Mulligan.
Yeah.
And
that one came and gone. That one came and went.
Yes.
Really. No one really talks about Maestro anymore.
No. Bradley's movie is going to be out in like a few weeks or whatever.
Yeah. He has the comedic movie. Is he starring in it? Or
he's in it. But no, the Will Arnett is starring in it.
Oh, that's right.
He's the main guy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see with that. Definitely a smaller movie for sure. Okay, Vin, looking at these scores, anything else to touch on? You want to get into what we're doing next week since we're not doing Demon Hunters?
Yeah. So, right. And also for the record, Brandon, I don't think I would go to a theater showing that would be like a sing-along ever. You know what I mean?
What about if I was there? No, okay.
Because it's already a kids movie. We are then going with like mothers taking their daughters. That is where I'm out on it. I will watch this in the privacy of my own home.
We'd have to hire a kid or something like that.
Yeah, we need to rent a family. You know. Next week, we got Begonia coming out, hyped or not. I have gotten kind of a little bit more hyped. I know you're on the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
No, me too, a little bit.
Oh, really?
Well, because the more I read the story, it's like, if I'm going to like one, it might be this one.
It just sounds like a kind of a wild thriller, you know what I mean?
You're right, yeah.
I am a little scared that Emma Stone really pitches this as like a comedy first, so it's like, oh boy. I feel like the time has come. We have covered a lot of Yorgos Lanthimos. It's time to do a director's study for him. If anything, just to wrap up some things that are previously rated on the site for some easy work for the week, but also to get to some things that I have not seen. So that 5 spot is going to be Dogtooth, I believe his first movie.
In 2009, yep.
Yeah.
First feature length as well. He does a lot of shorts.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Interesting. We're going to jump to The Lobster, Killing of a Sacred Deer, The Favorite, which kind of sparked this whole collaboration with Emma Stone, and the only one that I really haven't seen. Well, no, I'm sorry. That's not true. I haven't seen Dogtooth, haven't seen The Favorite. And then, of course, the new release is Begonia. So
he's a weird Greek dude. This guy is often he's not a household name.
Yeah.
And I had this in the news show, but there was so much news this week, I actually ended up cutting it out. But we've given him shit sometimes for just working too much.
Yes.
Because he came out with like 2 films last year.
Yep.
And I mean, with Poor Things, it's just too fast. And he came out and on the press tour said that he's taking a break. He's very clearly burned out. He knows that he's kind of overworked himself.
Wow.
And he needs to take his time off a little bit. Which is what he did after The Favorite. He took a gap before in his career.
Okay.
But anyway, folks, he's a weirder guy. Critics love him, even though he's not a box office success or anything like that. He's an auteur for sure. And he started getting big success with that first film in 2009 called Dogtooth. Which is disturbing in a few different ways. So I'm excited. I've seen it before. Vin is not. I can't wait to talk about that.
Interesting.
And I think I'm going to watch The Favorite because I haven't seen that as well.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm just very curious to see where Begonia is going to land because it's got more. I feel like it's gotten more marketing, more press than most.
It has.
So
I also think that the week after we're going to need some palate cleansers. We're going to need some like family friendly. Just
that's not in the cards.
I
for
need
next week.
some sugar in 2 weeks. Okay, Vin, thank you so much for watching these films here, for stopping by tonight. Folks at home will run it down one more time. We've got Shelby Oaks with a 50%, Chainsaw Man the movie, Reze Arc with a 73%, sorry. And then Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, and that got a 61%. It's always a blast week after week. Thank you for stopping by and listening to us, folks. And as always, we'll see you right here next week on the Daily Ratings Podcast. And hey, if you enjoyed the podcast, if you would, give us a good rating or get the word out and tell a friend about us. And just a reminder that the Daily Ratings is completely producer supported. We want to stay away from advertising, and we don't want to have any paywalls or tier structures or subscriptions. It's all just value for value. So, are you finding value in what we're doing here at the Daily Ratings? Then become a producer and donate whatever amount of value that is. Just go to the donations tab on thedailyratings.com, and while you're there, be sure to check out the massive amount of films that Vince has rated. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Daily Ratings Podcast.